Okay, so normally this would be another installment in my review series for alcohol brush tip markers. Unfortunately, I recorded this review and then proceeded to accidentally delete it. So I'm still gonna do the review. It's just you're not gonna see it in like real time, I guess, because I already did it and then deleted it like a dummy. So yeah. Anyway, so the markers I'm reviewing are these #coloring alcohol-based markers. There are 25 colors. There's 5 packs of 5. 5 packs of 5 or 5 packs of 6? 5 packs of 5. And I have all of them. And as you can, these are all the colors. I swatched all of them. Which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yep, so there's 25 altogether. 24 colors and a colorless blender. And these markers, I was so excited for these markers because the pictures online of the actual marker and the tip, they look so much like Copic markers. Here, let me show you. So this is what the tip looks like new, or reasonably new. This is the marker I used for the background, I believe. And see how nice, actually no, this is a marker I didn't use in this picture at all. Yeah, this is a marker I didn't use in this picture at all because the background, this is B10 and the background is B7. So this is blue 10, and look how nice that tip is, long, and it looks like one flexible tip. It's, oh, the pictures online made me think that these might be the ones. And as you can see, as far as I don't remember how bad the stress test was. It looks like it bled quite a bit as far as the stress test, which is fine. Most markers do bleed, so. But, so I also, let's talk about the reaction test. To its own blender, it seems, you know, to have an okay reaction. Here, jumping over to blendability quickly, it is able to kind of push the ink out of the way, which is cool. It's a feature of alcohol markers. Highly reactive with acetone, much like the Marby Cheeto La Plume were. Not very reactive with alcohol, not reactive to water. You get an okay gradient as far as blendability. And you can even kind of get a gradient from 2 colors that don't go together, except that I did notice, if you see here, you can't clean the tip off. I don't remember what color that is. I think it's R17. Let me find it. I don't know where it is. You can't really clean the tip off. It stays tinted. It stays stained, if you will. And then, as far as blending with colored pencil, the Faber-Castell actually worked beautifully with these. Hold on, let me move this up a little so you can see it. The Faber-Castell blend was great with these. The Prismacolor was fine, but I was surprised how good the Faber-Castell. Usually Faber-Castell, you can't get all the streaks out. These, it just is a lovely blend. I was shocked. And then we ran into the biggest problem, which kind of creates itself. So much like a lot of the other ones, these are not actually foam one solid piece for a brush tip. They are a bunch of fibers pulled together into a brush. So here, let's look back at this B10. Can you, let's see. They are all separate little fibers pulled together to make a brush. Which, that's fine. but as you can see, they have the same problem as a lot of the other ones I've reviewed, where you can get a really nice fine line. Like right down here is a beautifully fine line. That's the first line I drew with the, looks like BG10. It's the first line I drew. It's beautifully thin. But the more you use it, the more frayed it becomes. You see how we get over here to this separated fibrous looking strokes? Okay, now that is the worst part of these markers. So I colored this I did this picture of Tiana, which, as you can see, the blending didn't do so hot on her face and on her neck. And I did do the fine liner test with, as I usually do. I don't know if you can see the diamond, but anyway, none of them really bled, which was great. None of them really bled, but I want to talk about this feathering problem that presented itself. So this is what the tip is supposed to look like. This is a new tip that I hardly used. I swatched it once, and that's all I've done with this, right? So this is a new marker. Now we're going to compare that with this marker, E2. I believe this is the one, is the highlight of her skin. It's the light shade. So I laid this color down, I shaded with the darker E8, and then I went back over it with the E2 to blend, right? Okay, now this is what the tip is supposed to look like. This is what the tip looks like on this brush now. I colored one picture, this one picture you see right here. Do you see this? Do you see how much of a train wreck this is? It's like, can you appreciate how terrible this looks? Look at that. Look at that. It's supposed to be this. It's supposed to be this, and it is this. Isn't that just terrible? And it got this way because the brush tip immediately began breaking down as soon as I started using it. Isn't that? I almost can't get this. The reason it's stained this brown color on the edges in places is because a little bit of the ink got on my fingers. And I was trying to, I almost can't get the cap back on this. I was trying to twist it like this to like, because see the cap has a graduation in it. And so this frayed mess will not go in there. So I was trying to get it in, and so I twisted it and the ink transferred from my hands. But yeah, and it's not just that one. I believe, yep, this is the other color I used on her skin, the E8 also did that. Just the same. Isn't that, it's a puffy, awful mess. And so, and I think the green for her dress did that. I'm not really sure where that one is right now. But anyway, that is the worst part of these markers, is they do not survive one picture. They do not survive one picture. Like the last review I did, I believe, were the Marview Cheetah La Plume. And I said that I could verify that they can at least last one picture. These hashtag coloring markers cannot even last one picture. I was, by the end of this, that's why there's so many weird streaks and textures, I was scrubbing, trying to get some color out of this marker to lay down, because it's very, I don't even know if it'll, see, look at this. Do you see that? And that's after it's been sitting for 2 weeks. But it's still like streaky. And like, I literally am just, you have no idea how light the pressure I'm using is. I'm just using enough pressure to get ink to come out. And look at what the tip is doing already. This is just, these are awful. These are the worst, by far the worst that I've tried so far. I don't know how it could get much worse than these. The ink doesn't really blend very well. The tips get stained. The tips don't work. They do not last. They're not. So these are definitely a no. I hate them. I mean, maybe they'll work for somebody else. I don't know. But the batch I have doing the art the way that I do art, they do not work for me. They don't even last for one picture. I was especially disappointed because it really, from the pictures I could see online of what the tip looked like, these really seemed like they were gonna be the ones. They look so similar to a Copic. They're just longer than a Copic. But otherwise, I was so excited. And they weren't that expensive, which good thing because, I mean, they're almost useless. I try not to give bad reviews because, again, maybe they work for some people, they just don't work for me, but these were just, the tip, that was the deal breaker. This tip doing this, that was the deal breaker. But yeah, so after this thorough disappointment, and again, I'm sorry that you can't see me going through this process, watching this happen. I deleted the footage on accident. I recorded this early and put out some videos and needed to clear space on my hard drive and accidentally deleted it. And by deleted, I mean like empty trash bin. It's not coming back, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's my review of the hashtag coloring markers. I was very depressed about it because I really thought that these were gonna be the ones to beat, and they sadly were not. But if you like seeing marker reviews, check out my Check out my brush tip alcohol marker reviews. I've got a playlist on my channel. I've got a few up now. I do them every other week or so. I try and get one out. So otherwise, I guess if you have any suggestions of markers that I should do in the future, the only rules are they have to be alcohol based and they have to advertise a brush tip. If they don't actually have a brush tip, that's fine. They'll lose points for that. But it has to advertise that it has a brush tip, not a bullet tip or not just an alcohol marker, because, well, we're looking for Copic dupes or markers that are better than Copics even. But yeah, so I guess subscribe to my channel for more reviews. I do doll face-ups, I do speed paints, I do challenges, I do bullet journaling, I do a little bit of everything. So if you like art things, please join the channel. Subscribe and hit that bell notification button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it if you would. That really helps me out. And I guess I will see all of you tomorrow with a bullet journal update. Bye.